Alright, so I got a really weird gun to do a video on today. I never thought I would ever see one of these in real life. Kind of wish I didn't. It is the Matrix Pulse Rifle. So I believe this is from the movie Aliens, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't seen those movies all the way through. Sorry, crucify me. I know they're supposedly good movies. Like Alien vs. Predator, I saw one of those, that was good. But I never thought I would actually have one of these, and my brother got this in a mystery box. It's a very expensive gun. They're about $350, but man, I don't know if these sell very well. I highly doubt it. I've never seen one on the field, and you can get a lot better of a gun for $350, so I don't really recommend it for that cost. But some people are diehard fans or collectors or whatever. You know, I do that sort of stuff with airsoft and even firearms, you know, just cool things that you maybe have to pay a little bit more for, even if you could have an AR for $600 that'll do the same thing. You just want something different, you know. Basically, it's a Thompson on the inside, and it is OEM Matrix. Now, the Thompson that I have was a Cyma or a King Arms, and those use pretty crappy internals. I don't think they've updated them. This one, I cannot find any references on what exactly is inside of it. I do open the charging handle, and you can see a red piston and a steel cylinder, and it looks like a good cylinder. So that kind of tells me that maybe it's Matrix, like internals, like a Matrix metal rack piston and a steel cylinder, because that looks exactly what's in here. So I cannot confirm. If somebody in the comment section or somebody that has actually taken this gun apart wants to, within the past 2 years, because I don't know if they've updated this, because I'm pretty sure they've sold these for a long time. So within the past 2 years, if you've opened these and had a red piston, what else was in it? And was the piston metal rack? I'm curious. I'm not going to take it apart to find out. So I'm just going to start from the back and go to the front, and we'll just kind of figure things out together. So the stock here is adjustable. It does lock into place forward. You have to push in this button on the very back to retract it. It does stay pretty good, and then there's one more, right, all the way out. Honestly, this gun is not comfortable to shoot at all, and I'm a pretty small person. But when I hold, well, and the stock just went in on its own. There's that. All the buttons jammed. There we go. Is that all the way out? That is all the way out. Oh no, it's so short. My face is right up against, like, the sight block here. Like, if this was a real gun and it was recoiling, it would be hitting me in the face. So, it's not a comfortable gun if you ask me. This thing is beyond funky. But some of you, you know, LARPers really do like these. But I love shooting airsoft guns, so I'm just going to make a video on it. The whole body here is plastic. The stock is metal. That's actually a good thing. The butt plate and the actual bar, I guess you could say. The body here is the Thompson. You can see the charging handle on that side. It is identical to a Thompson. Basically, it's just a Thompson body with a different grip and then the whole front end. Charging handle doesn't do anything. The hop-up is right here, just like the regular Thompson. I think it's up is down, down is up. I cannot remember. I'll shoot around with it here. I can't even remember when I go play with my Thompson. I have to, like, actually adjust it because I always forget. So the magazine is actually housed inside of the body here, and you can actually plug in a battery to use a digital counter. So how you get to the magazine and the battery compartment is here. You push in the two tabs on either side. Pretty cool, actually. Pops off. And then you have a spot for a 9-volt, if I'm not mistaken, or a D battery. Is that what they call it, D battery? Put in here. Then it will light up to 95 on the screen. That's pretty cool. I guess that's high tech, but it's kind of cringe. And the magazine holds far more than 95. But you could maybe get some 95 round mid caps if you want. This is mainly a collector's gun. So the magazine that it comes with is a high cap. I think this holds 250 or 200, something like that. It is a short version, so in real life this would hold 20 in a real Thompson. And then this one would be a 30 rounder. So if you use a 30 rounder, then you cannot use that plate on the top. Also, the magazine well is extremely hard to find. You thought loading your Thompson was hard? Try sticking it in that same narrow spot but from, oh, I don't know, 4 inches up. It's not easy. In fact, the first time I had to use my flashlight, see, like, it's tight too. That's going into the right slot, but it's tight. So it'll probably break in, but it's still just funny. It's a bad design. There is a little switch here, I would assume on and off for the light here, the digital counter. Everything seems decent quality. I will say the pistol grip wobbles. This is already tightened. So what does that mean? Well, this screw goes through a motor housing, like the motor cage, and the motor cage is attached to the gearbox with 2 screws. So what that means, this is already tight. It's not stripped, I could tell. These screws are loose. So then I have to take this one out, pull the grip off, tighten those down, and then put this back on, out of the box. Like I just pulled it out, and it's loose. So that's a con. But yeah, it's kind of to be expected from Made in China. But in all seriousness, it does have the same settings as a Thompson. Safe, fire, and then semi, full auto. It's not very, it's unique. I actually kind of like it. I like 2 different selector switches, but in actual combat, or like if you actually, life or death situation, you would not want that. You would not want that. But just in terms of a toy gun, I don't know, you know. I kind of like it, 2 different modes, or 2 different switches. Moving forward with the fake shotgun, this is fake. When you do cock it, you can see a little shell, which is cool. It's just, you know, added effect. The barrel on here is totally different than the Thompson. Like, it does look a lot different. This is metal up here, the outer barrel's metal, but all of this is plastic. Now, battery storage is actually decent. So what you do is you pull up on this, pull up and twist. Again, it's pretty tight. Now, it's kind of an awkward battery storage compartment, and they recommend a round battery. There's a caveat to this. So, right now I have my battery stuffed in the shotgun tube. Here it comes. So, a 1000 milliamp, 20 to 40 C, 11.1. This is what I'd recommend. If you're using a 9.6 or 7.4 or an 8.4, good luck, dude. This is a slow shooter. Even with this. So you'll see in the video that you'll see why I recommend an 11.1. Now, there was a piece of plastic in the way. I broke it off. There's a piece of plastic on the side here. Broke it off, and now it will use a bigger battery other than a round battery. Now the shotgun pump gets in the way, so you gotta kind of do a roundabout way. I'd say this is probably the biggest battery you're gonna fit in here as well. Maybe a 1200, a longer one. The 1200s are a little longer. You might be able to squeeze it in here. Tube. I'm pointing this right at my face, I know. But you have to. They leave me no choice. Yeah, there's a little bar that's attached. And this probably still would have gotten in the way, I would imagine. So, honestly, just smash that out. I just use a screwdriver. It just sits in there on the side like this. And I literally just put a screwdriver right there and just hammered it out. And I bent it a couple times and it broke off. You can tell that plastic is cheap. So it's easy to break. But you have to pump it. And then you can see the actual tube of the shotgun. Like the barrel of the shotgun almost. But it's attached to the tube. What you'll do when that piece is broken, you can actually wiggle the battery down inside. You can see through these holes here, through the actual barrel, like literally where this shotgun shell goes. In fact, it's probably the same tube. It's just got the shell on the one side here. You kind of got to wiggle it, plug the battery in. Wiggle it down in there. Might have to shake it, literally. And then you can shut, there you go, then you can shut it. So before, if you did not put it inside of the actual tube, this pump would have to stay back. So you have to play with it back because you wouldn't be able to push it forward because the battery would be in the way. So what I'd recommend is, again, busting this piece out, getting this exact battery, maybe a little longer. You could get away with a little longer. And put it inside of that shotgun barrel. Inside there. It's just the tube that's attached to the pump. Do that, and then you're set, and you can still pump it. without getting in the way. I wouldn't violently do that because maybe the battery would rattle out of place, but if I shake it, none of the wires are getting in the way. So that was a pretty genius way of doing things, if I say so myself, and I came up with that in about a minute. Sometimes I'm pretty destructive, but it definitely pays off. Better battery storage, bigger battery, and more access to different sizes. You don't have to use a round one now, you can use the square one. So, for the ammo, I actually loaded up the ammo that came with the gun, believe it or not. These are .2s, I was just going to use them, and they actually shoot pretty decently. I did shoot a little bit of it. I would highly recommend to use these exact magazines, and then put the plate on. Or, if you really don't care about the plate, get the 30-round mags, high caps. Because if you're using mid caps, you're still going to have to load it quite often, and that is what you absolutely want to avoid. Not wind the mag with that on. So guys, maybe if you're going to field this, don't be a retard. Just ditch this. Hopefully, maybe tape so the battery stays in. Leave that off and run it like this. Run it like this with a piece of tape over the battery, and then you can reload like a normal Thompson. Eject the mag is tight. Pull it out, and then you can switch mags. Now, switching mags is still going to be a pain. The fact that BBs get up in there. Reloading's still going to be a pain, but you'll have, 250 rounds, or you could do the extended one, and it would stick out a little bit, in a high cap, so you can wind it. That might work for you, too. Alright, let's chrono it. I will read it off, because you're not going to be able to see it. I doubt it. 373, 373, 373, 374, 372, 371, 370 FPS is where it sits. 1.28 joules with a .2, so not very high at all. In fact, some indoor fields would allow this. It shoots good, it's accurate, consistent, but the semi's okay. I mean, for a stock gun, it's not awful. Consistent, but very slow, very slow. It's actually kind of disappointing on the rate of fire with an 11.1 LiPo. I mean, normally this is the rate of fire with a 7.4 with most guns. So let's see if we can get this mid-cap to feed. I have no idea what brand it is. Oh, that went in pretty easily. 2 5s in here. Go to semi. It beats. And that's a really old mag. Shoots very good. I would recommend 2 5s for sure. Pretty nice. This mag only holds like 75. It's really good. And it's empty. That fed really good. Alright, time to let you guys see how it shoots. Got 2 5s in that stock high cap. It's very accurate. Probably 200 feet out of the box. Would I recommend it for the price? No. Would I recommend it in general? No. If you're a collector by any means of like alien weaponry or whatever, you're just interested with it, and maybe you have other guns, then by all means, like, add it to the collection. But if you're actually wanting to go play with a gun and you want something that's good and maybe you're pretty new to the sport, don't get this. That'd be a very big mistake because there's just so much to this gun. Whereas you can just go out buy an M4 or an AK and you'll be able to, work that thing very easily. Whereas this is just convoluted.